Hi, I'm Abby, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you channel information. What does that mean exactly, to channel information? I'm aware that there's people out there that think it's just a bunch of BS and it's just people talking, and it's not legit, it's not real. And the funny thing about that is that I understand where that's coming from. I understand what type of human perception perceives that channeling is a bunch of phony baloney. So I do get why that type of opinion exists, but the fun part of reality is the fact that all human beings, all animals, all insects, all of creation, and we're not talking about planet Earth here, because I really, really need to make it apparent. It's important to me that human beings know that we live in a universe. We live in a humongous, ginormous, unimaginable, infinite, amazing universe. And for us to just focus on what exists here is really boring. It's really simple. It is not even touched the surface of what exists. It's sort of like, you see that poster and it's got a giant like mountain under the water, and then all you see is the picture shows you what's above the water is just a tiny little square, or triangle, like just the tip of the mountain is just above the water, and then underneath the water is just what seems like this mountain that goes down forever. And it literally, that is what it is like to just want to look at Earth, planet Earth. Planet Earth is just a tiny little spot in a giant infinite universe. And we're not living in just an infinite physical universe, we're living in an infinite spiritual universe. So we are both. We are living in both an infinite physical and spiritual universe, and we are existing in both places simultaneously at all times. And we are existing in past, present, and future at all times. We are constantly existing in all places and at all times simultaneously, which is why time itself is an illusion, is why distance itself is an illusion. But we're not that. I have other videos that discuss what is distance, what is time. So for this video I want to focus specifically on channeling information. I'm going to talk about some terms right now. So we have channel. What is a channel of information? It's somebody who channels information. And you have somebody who is psychic. So a channeler is somebody who the information is sort of coming in like a waterfall, and then it comes in and you can sense it. So I feel right now even that I am channeling this discussion because it's scary for a human being. I am facing my fears by presenting myself to the world and talking about what is inside me. And so I need help from the spirit world. I need help from the universe, from alien beings. I need help from where I can get help, which the funny part about getting help from everywhere is actually that the help already exists inside of me. Like I literally am just connecting with what is already existing as a part of my soul, as a part of all of creation. But it does literally have a sensation. Channeling has a sensation as though it's coming from the sky into my head and is sort of filling my brain with information. But it's also sensory, so I also feel like prompted to talk about certain things. So when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go next, I have to pause, and then I wait to see what the next sort of like a drum beat is going to be. Like what is the next image I'm going to see, and the next feeling of this is the next place to go. To anybody that feels like, well, isn't that just normal conversation? Yes, that is just normal conversation. That is me having a normal conversation, me flowing through points, but it is a presentation I'm having here, so it's sort of beyond my senses. To have a spiritual conversation is challenging because that is not human. It has spiritual conversations have to go beyond the senses. But even just normal everyday conversations too can be channeled in. And what's fascinating as well about channeling is that so you're getting wound up, you're getting fierce, you're getting irritated about somebody you just can't stand, and then in all of this invigoration, all this energy, all of this feeling of just anger and frustration, it just blurts itself out of you, and then it's like you just start saying stuff to this person. It's like, man, I'm awesome. I'm telling them everything I have felt inside, and I'm telling it to them, in the most perfect way. And it usually isn't perfect, but when it is perfect and you know it inside, is like, I'm awesome. Because we all want to do that, because we all can't stand each other, because we live on Earth, which we're trying to change that, because we want to raise the vibration here, and we want to become more loving beings. So I too am human. I too feel being human. I too am a part of the lower vibration that is entirely connected with dark energy, which is entirely channeling in the dark spiritual realm. It is hatred is channeling in the dark spiritual realm. So when you spat off at somebody, you are actually channeling in that moment from a dark entity that is assisting you with that conversation. They want to help you be the awesomest hate monger there ever was. They want you to. That is their job. That is their job. And as human beings, we don't realize how connected we are to dark entities, and we do channel in their energy on a regular basis. And that's why we literally are so frustrated, so unhappy, so dissatisfied with life. And to try and be happy is something we actually have to focus on regularly, like all day long. Even I am just like, all right, I am happy. I'm going to be happy. I don't know why I'm getting just so worked up and wound up, and I'm not. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to set all those feelings aside, because that's truly not how I mean to feel. It's not how I want to feel. And I'm just going to set all that aside, and then I'm going to choose to be an expression, a channel of light again, and love, and peace, and timelessness. So, if you talk to somebody who's lived 80 years, then they got nowhere to go and nothing to do. That right there is timelessness. That right there is a gift of patience, but it's not patience, it is timelessness. It is like it doesn't matter when anything happens. And that right there is actually an expression of light. It is phenomenal to experience that. So if you want to be a channel of light, you become patient, you become timeless, you become joyful in just every moment. And that is literally being a channel of light. And you speak with love, you speak with words of love, and that is being a channel of light. That is one tiny little depiction of what a channel is. And in this channeling, we all do it, and we all do it all day long. And sometimes you even recognize when it happens, and you're like, wow, I said the right thing just now. That right there is you having an amazing, pure, channeled connection with a spiritual entity who shared the information with you, and you received it and shared it then outwardly through the physical world in a way that was such in harmony with that vibration, with that entity, with that specific soul in an infinite universe. That's awesome. And the thing is that dark can be the perfectionist in dark, and that is a terrible nightmare right there. But there are dark souls that are extremely, extremely advanced. There are pure souls of light that are extremely, extremely advanced. And when you connect with one of them, it's like the ultimate respect, because what it takes to become a deep and an impressive, a well-balanced, a well-rounded, and an incredible old soul is like, and it is so amazing. And you know, human beings be like, why the hell would you want to say something good about dark souls? That they're the reason there's war, they're the reason there's torture and all this. You know, I get that, but for me to hate the darkness is for me to just continue to be dark. Only when you love dark can you actually see from the heightened state of what is love, what is unconditional love in a realm that is a higher vibration. Only when you see dark from a realm that is at a higher vibration can you realize their purpose, can you realize their importance. Because without the bad days, how could we really appreciate the good days? And that's what dark provides us. Unfortunately, the bad days are way more than the good days. So you have like a scale, you know, so let's see here. This would be like super heavy bad days, super light good days. So it would be better if we could be even like super lot of good days, no bad days. So eventually, you know, we'll try and see how good I am at, you know, moving my finger in front of a camera. So so we'll yeah, so the goal is always, you know, that back to the point. I'm just talking about channeling information. So so everybody channels information whether you realize it or not, but a spiritual channeler is somebody who is speaking, and it would definitely be related to spiritual topics. And definitely be related to helping bring forward the wisdom of the universe. And some channels can be dark, and some channels can be light. And so dark is also a manipulator. Dark is the manipulation. So in a dark world like we experience here on Earth, we experience dark's perfect ingenious expression of a manipulation, and we are so into the manipulation in the control based world and the sensation that we don't have control, which is the manipulation, it is the illusion. There's so many illusions here. We live in an illusionary world, and most of us feel like, well, this is just life. It is not. You go beyond. If you connect with what is in your heart, and you use what your senses are inside your heart, and you start to see what is with the third eye, which is like your. I put the two together, so heart and third eye, which is really there. You put the two together, and it creates information for you in like a little television screen, and that you can project a television screen that shows you anything you want, whatever you want, in all of the infinite physical and spiritual universe. That's so awesome. That's so simple, and everybody can do that. So you can choose to just say this is just life, or you can choose to connect with your infinite soul and go beyond this just being life, and to start to perceive what life could be. What is life itself? What is creation itself? What is it to exist? And you start having those types of questions, and you start to perceive human beings around you, and you start to develop an opinion on what feels right and what feels wrong. And now here I am trying to share with you all of these moments for all these years of my life where I have developed awareness and wisdom, and now trying to speak it out loud is challenging for me. So I connect right now. I'm connected with what is like a ball, and then you have the electrical, like the super electricity lightning bolts going everywhere, and you put your hands on it, and then your hair goes like this. So that's sort of what I am right now. I'm like sort of the electrical lightning bolts are actually touching entities right now that are helping guide me through this conversation. So right now I am channeling my own video on channeling itself. So I am having a very spiritually profound conversation with you. That I am actually kind of in the what would be autopilot mode. I am physically here, but I am also a spirit, which is an electrical being of light, and I am connected with other spirits who are perfectionists in what we are discussing, and they are helping guide me to make sure the language and the information is shared in a way that I choose in my heart for it to be relayed, because I want it to be simple. I want it to be understandable. I want to talk about channeling in a way that other people now can perceive how it works in their own life, and even perceive themselves as channelers. And then also, I want this video to be about awareness, self-awareness, worldly awareness, awareness of human beings, the psychology of being a human, and how we can make it better here. Because all my videos, I really want to promote a better world. That's what I'm doing here, and I know that a spiritual awareness in human beings does promote a better world. It raises your vibration, because you choose to go to beings that can assist you with your awareness. And awareness is wisdom, and wisdom is light. Dark is always dark. There's wisdom in darkness, but it is always going to lead you in a direction that will end up being corrupt. And corrupt is murder. Corrupt is hurting others for your own personal gain. Corrupt is all of that stuff. And that is not, we have enough of that here. We have enough of that channeled wisdom here. I want to channel wisdom that is actually pure, actually is a voice of love, is a voice that helps us remember who and what we are, and that we live in an infinite universe. That's so important. You are an infinite being living in an infinite universe. That is exactly what we are. That we don't perceive ourselves that way. So I talked about channeling there, and I did mention the word psychic. And psychic is, to define psychic would be to tell you that it's a person where you ask them a question and they will tell you what the outcome will be, what the future holds. And a channeler is somebody then who is communicating with the help of a spiritual entity, and that spiritual entity is guiding them beyond their humanness, beyond what is human. So if I didn't have these spiritual entities, I would be sitting here really slowly. You can look at my previous videos from start to present, and you can see how I have developed connections to help me channel the information more fluidly, because it isn't just I'm just improving my presentation skills. I am doing that, but I'm also improving my ability to allow the information to flow through me from the spiritual realm, from spiritual entities that I can also perceive in my third eye mind. Although if I start perceiving them, it doesn't help me speak anymore. So I'm just going to describe them as super awesome beings of light, and they can take on any form that they choose to take. And that I'll talk about that in a different video. But psychics then, and I'll just briefly tell you what my opinion is on psychics, because again, human beings want to talk, less of channelers, and then they themselves are channelers. They channeled those hate-mongering comments or whatever it might be. If I were to venture onto other videos and that have lots of comments, and you look and you see the ones that are really thankful, and that actually came from the heart, and that actually came from a realm of light, entities of light. That is special. And you read the comments that are rude and straight up, where the heck did you get even that thought? Like, whatever it could be, because we've all read them, we've all, seen them before. Then you either want to laugh and be like, what the heck, what a jerk, or whatever you feel about it. But those, when I read those, is like, oh wow, that guy straight up is a fear-based, fear-driven human being, and in his moment of of not being able to comprehend himself, and thus cannot comprehend the information, chooses to use dark souls to actually share a message to try to corrupt that person into feeling lesser of themselves, so they literally can feel better. And that doesn't work. That isn't good. You can have a spiritual awareness and then you see stuff like that, and like that there was channeled from a dark entity. That doesn't mean the soul inside that human being is dark, not by any means. That soul is probably not very developed, doesn't have the awareness to know how to perceive beyond the human senses. They're just exploring life as a human being like all the rest of us, and feeling like the challenges of just being human and wanting to experience a spiritual world but not knowing how to. And then the frustration of that creates connections with dark souls as a means to share the frustration. And that there's a channel. We all channel information. So back to being psychic, because I was trying to talk to you about that. And obviously it just doesn't really relate to this conversation. But I'll just say quickly, alright, so people feel the same way about psychics as they do about channelers. And channelers are like you can channel every single day, and there's spiritual people who have more sensitivity that can actually channel spiritual wisdom, and that does come from alien beings, and it comes from spiritual entities. And alien beings, as long as it's spiritually high vibrational, it will come from high vibrational spiritual entities and alien beings. And a psychic is literally pulling the information from an infinite, what would be the infinite time. Now I see why I'm not supposed to talk about this. Okay, so let's just scratch psychic for right now, and we're just going to focus primarily on channel. But if you want to hate monger on psychics, then you're just pulling that information from some dark soul, so stop it. But yes, I do believe there are some legit psychics, and I've met amazing, incredible legit psychics. And I've met psychics that really weren't there to promote my well-being. They were just there to be not a expression of wholesome, loving goodness. They're part of the manipulation. So I do agree with that. But I don't, so just, whatever about psychics, I can make another video about that, just, that's the end of all I'm going to say on channeling. I think I've said enough. I think I've said everything I can say about it, on how it works, and that it exists, and how you experience it in your daily lives without realizing it. And so that's all for today on this video, but I'll make more videos, of course. So feel free to subscribe to my channel, and please share comments, and I'll know if you are channeling from a dark soul or not. I'll know, and I will not be offended either. So if you don't like my video, you can tell me, and I will not be offended by that. But if you like my video, you can tell me too, and I'll definitely love that, and it'll make my heart feel warm inside. And we all need more compliments in life. And so then you could also visit my website. It's abbynormalswisdomquest.com. And I hope you found this information valuable, useful, intriguing, and thank you for watching.